Here, Dhamma friends, it's a Dhamma talk it's a time for our Dhamma talk. So, to start Dhamma talk, you may consent 3 times with sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katame ca bhikkave sankhara chaime bhikkave cetana kaya rupa sancetana saddha sancetana gandha sancetana rasa sancetana pottabba sancetana dhamma sancetana idang uccati bhikkave sankharati ti. Dear Dhamma friends, today is our 9th day as far as the talk is concerned. So far we were handling this Upadana Pariwatta Sutta appearing in the Samyutta Nikaya and specifically in the Khanda Samyutta. And there the Buddha is mentioning whenever someone is getting attached, he or she is getting attached only for these 5 aggregates. So if someone is verily understanding that on these very 5 aggregates, that itself is making a way out of that also. Therefore, if someone is really serious about getting towards emancipation, the liberation, one has to seriously understand these 5 aggregates in 4 rounds or 4 phases. That is to say, the very aggregates in its characteristics. The second thing is its very arising and its cessation and the way leading to the cessation. That is the normally, in the canonical terms, these are the 4 noble truths. But here in categorically, dealing related with each and every aggregate. So far, we have taken time to deal the first 3 aggregates, namely the forms or materiality as an aggregate. The second thing is the feelings. The third one is the perception. Today we are going to the mental formations or volitional formations known as sankhara. So this in this particular discourse, Katamecha Bhikkave Sankhara, the Buddha himself is asking the question, what are these sankhara, what are these mental formations? And immediately below he says, Chaime Bhikkave Cetana Kaya. Then he says, there are 6 volitions, the heaps of volitions. So the sankhara is defined as cetana here. The sankhara we can say mental formation or volitional formations, and cetana is it's rather directly translated as volitions. So that may be the reason the English the people, those who are translating the term sankhara into English language, they put into volitional. But of course, when you are studying in a theoretical basis, in a wider sense, the term sankhara has many, many shades of meanings. This may be the most proximate one and covering the major part of its body, and therefore this rendering, the translation, the sankhara as a volitional formation or mental formation, one has to use with due precautions. And talking about that, specifically Professor Padmasiddha Silva, he says, the translation itself, from Pali to English, itself is demanding certain amount of precautions. Not only that, even if you know Pali, And within the canon itself, this particular term sankhara has many, many applications, many, many shades of meaning. So that is as far as the book knowledge is concerned. That is for the theoretical knowledge is concerned. So each and every one may be somewhat helpful for us to sort out our problems, specifically the meditative problems, or we'll try to deal them as much as possible. So this is just an introduction. So if I am to translate this Pali verse that I have quoted today as today's topic, what are these sankhara? There are 6 kind of volitions, namely volitions regarding the form, volitions regarding the sounds, regarding the smells, taste, touch and the mental phenomena. So these are the 6 volitions. So by understanding them, you are comprehending, you are fairly understanding what does it mean by sankhara. So that means as far as the forms are concerned, or visual objects are concerned, there are some volition, and you have, it is driven by either your likings and disliking, or your preconceived perceptions, or due to whatever it may be, you consider this form is good, I must have my volition, my will to have it, have a proximity and acquaintance with that. So therefore, if I can have more and more closeness, acquaintance and frequency, I am more accomplished or rich. Even if I need and desire is there, if I can't do it, that is my disability or inability, that is my poor nature. So therefore, regarding the forms, each and every person has his or her own volition regarding the forms. Equally, the sounds. This sound is good, I must have it. This is bad, I must get rid of that. Whenever such bad thing going to confront with, you are unhappy. Whenever you are going to have the desirable one, you are happy. When you are not going to have desirable one, again you are unhappy. So therefore, regarding the sounds also, you have kind of volitions and the smells, tastes, touch and the mental phenomena. So when we are in an awake situation, not sleep, and where all the senses are open, and if the eye is healthy and it is open, it is free to entertain the visual objects. And if your eardrum is, if it is healthy, and there may be enough sounds from you created or created by the nature. For exactly the nose connecting with smells, taste buds are connecting with tastes, the tongue, and the body is always having one or the other tactile sensation, and the mind also have its own pet ideas. When these things are available together with the internal, the faculties and external objects, the mind cannot be aware of all the 6 at a time. So therefore, it has to be selected. The choice is there. Choice is a must. So sankhara is the function. Sankhara is the agent going to select or become choosy out of these 6 things what is to be taken as the priority. So therefore, due to the incapability of the consciousness that cannot entertain all the 6 at a time, it has to select. So therefore, sankhara has the selecting one thing, and we immediately, due to our likings and disliking, get engrossed, inundated by the particular selected one, and forgetting selecting one means rejecting five. The amount of information you are losing by selecting one is enormous. You are not going to get that chance ever. So therefore, this you do not know due to the avijja. That is why in the dependent origination, avijja paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana. Avijja is the proximate cause, the immediate cause for the sankhara to happen. So whenever you are given with 6 options, specifically according to this example, our sankhara is urging us, pushing us, make immediate with us to select something vehemently, and soon you select it. That very thing is inundating you, you become engrossed because you select the most attractive thing or most distractive thing. This is the criterion you are driven by. That is fertilized by your own ignorance. So soon you select, you get engrossed with that particular one, and you are rejecting 5, and your whole inferential knowledge, observations and the decision is completely limited to that particular the object you selected, and more you to select, and more you to give inferences or decisions. It is definitely not the truth. It is not the thing as it is. You have seen 1/6 of the phenomena, and as if you are explaining it, interpreting, give inferences, decide as if you have the direct touch, and you are really fighting, and you are telling, I am talking with my direct touch. No one can say no. But you fail to understand your touch is yes. It is immediate, it is under the nose. But you fail to understand you are talking with 1/6 of the possible totality. That is, and top of that, you are fighting, arguing and debating, become stereotype to show that what you are telling is the truth, because you are talking with your direct experience. And you don't know that your all arguments and debates and everything coming out of ignorance. Because it is something incomplete, it is partial truth. But your ego is not happy to say, to accept it is partial truth, may or may not be. Instead you say, this is the truth, rest is balance, rest is false. This is the Buddha says the worst disease in the world. Idameva satyam mogamanya. This is the truth because I am talking with my experience. This is the truth, rest is false. So there onward, when you are going to take that kind of a fool-headed, stereotype, arrogant, ignorant stand, even the Buddha can't help you. So that is why you have to have a certain amount of faith or certain amount of understanding. Yes, we are talking with our direct touch or direct experience, but maybe the truth is not there. Truth may be beyond that. So that is why you have to understand this aggregates of volition as such. It is going to show the partial truth as the full truth. And you claim it because it is your verifiability, because you are talking with your direct touch. So you yourself has to understand it is direct touch, no one can deny. It's truth. But your capacity, your mind can't at a time to comprehend one thing from its the visual representation, the sound, the smell, the taste, the touch and the mental. So that is the point where we are interested in understanding the evolution. So, as I mentioned a number of times throughout the story, throughout the talks, therefore, if one particular phenomena is observed by different people, they are coming out with different inferences. To indicate the Buddha give us very specific kind of example, he says the one day a king came to know this kind of thing, and therefore he wanted to test it, and therefore the king's advisor made a situation whereby he got hold born blind people and asked them to touch an elephant and to interpret it. So one person went and touched the legs. They came and told it is like a coconut trunk. So elephant is a coconut trunk. The other person touched the tail, it appeared like a broomstick. He told the elephant is a broomstick. The other elephant who touched the ear, he told it is a winnowing fan. Exactly like the winnowing fan, elephant is a winnowing fan. And the person who touched the trunk came out told it is like a small flying areca nut trunk. So different people came and they are fighting each other like anything. They are telling, I am talking with my direct touch. Elephant is such. Of course, elephant is like Wangediya in Sri Lanka, but very difficult to put it in the English language. That is like a big trunk. So the king was laughing at how these born blind people are fighting each other, telling that I touched the elephant and this is how it appears. This is exactly about the worldlings. Definitely we have to accept, leaving aside the Sankhara business, we have to accept that two truths are available. One thing is the conventional one, the other one is the absolute. So we, as far as we are engrossed in this conventional one, we become blindfold to the absolutes. So we have to have a kind of a flexibility, malleability, even though we are an expert on that particular subject of my specialty, there may be some other versions. But that is the very thing you are losing when you become an academic. Academics are such the narrow-minded people. They are going to show their own view, thinking they are the best in their subject. So therefore, to make a joke, it says that when you become owner of the BSc, it says it is bullshit. And when you become MSc, it called more shit. When you become PhD, pile deep and high. So this is how you are drawn and dragged into one particular subject. Ultimately, you know everything about nothing. That is what the PhD means. So this is how the world is running, and that is how the world is going to go into the moon and the Saturn. More and more extrovert, finding far and far away, so much so they are lost to themselves. And they are the worst lot if the Buddha to appear, to go and have a discussion. Because they will try to teach Buddha. Definitely they will try, they will show their degrees and all the kind of thing with the address card. I know this subject, please sit and listen, I know. This is how the Sankhara is happening. So you have to be, at least understand, the Sankhara is the one, make the partial truth as the full-fledged. So I would like to quote here the same thing that I have already mentioned, where in the Chanki Sutta, the Buddha is explaining this in a very in a discreet way. The Chanki is the name of a village during the time of the Buddha, and there was a village headman. He also known as Chanki Brahmana. He is coming from the Brahman family, and he is a very elderly group leader, or kind of a teacher, advisor. And one day the Buddha visited close by forest, of that village, and that day there were 500 other close by Brahmanas came and pay visit to this chunky Brahmana, and they are having a conference. And while it is there, he used to see out of his balcony, and people are going one after the other towards the forest where the Buddha is living. So he sent a messenger and asked where that people are going. One people told that Buddha has come and close by. So therefore he, 2, 3, 4, 5 messages time, he came to know he's a special person. So he thought of paying a visit. So he asked the other 500, telling that today evening I am going to pay a visit to the Buddha. This is an announcement. Then everyone vehemently told, no. You must not go to pay to him because you are elderly person with the ripened hair and the beard. So Buddha is a very young person and he is with the black hair. So therefore you must not go to him. He must of course come and pay the respect to you as the village headman. So there's a debate, and ultimately the junkie is giving a very good character certificate of the Buddha, and he says, you don't know whether you like it or not, I have already made my decision, I am going. So ultimately all 500 accompanied him, and he go there, and luckily very little Buddha is, after paying greetings and talking each other, there was a very young person, very bright, about 16 years of old, is known as Kapatika, and is well versed in his 3 baskets of their teachings. And when the elders are sharing and talking each other, he raised a question. Then Buddha says, you young fellow, mind your own business. When the elders are talking, you must know the time. And how can you jump into the asking questions like? So then the junkie, the leader felt embarrassment, and he told the Buddha, Bhante, don't tell it like that. He is a special right case, so he is well versed about this thing, and therefore I think he also qualified to raise questions and discuss. Then Buddha uttered nothings, and then he says, when the time comes, he must raise his question. And the Kapatika also got the point. He was waiting, and after the discussion, Buddha looked at his Kapatika's face, and he thought, now is the time. Then he says, Bhante, our elders and everyone coming and pay respect to you, it appears that you are very omniscient and good. But I have my own question, that we are so devoted. We have a very enormous amount of, colossal amount of knowledge. And we have spent our time, and I am a very efficient person on that. By 16 years time, I am well versed. How do you appreciate our faith? We are true to type. We are taking so much of interest, and we think it is really the intrinsically the best. But you appear coming from the different this thing. Would you mind to comment on? Then the Buddha says, yes, Saddha, the faith is something, but I would like to say it has its own 2 weaknesses. Susaddhaitang hoti, tuccham musa. Whatever maybe you may be earnestly believing, but it may be empty. It may be vanity, free of the truth. Asasuddhang hoti, tancha satchang niccang ananyata. Even if you are not believing, there may be the truth. There may be unshakable truth. So therefore, Saddha has its own weaknesses. Whatever you have taken as Saddha, it may be free of truth. The things as they are, but besides that may be the truth. Then he says, Bhante, and we are not really following that, dedicating our life to whole the spiritually and philosophical ways, the religious way, not only the Saddha, but we have our lineage, it's a very serious one, the best in the world. So they say, this is precious. So we are believing due to the lineage, and we heard from there, and that is why we are dedicating so much of time. That's where we are vehemently following it, and I would like to have your comment. Then the Buddha says, now you mentioned Saddha, now we are talking about this. Anusava, listening from this thing, exactly the same fate. Whatever the precious thing that you are came to know through this one may be free of truth. What you have rejected as the heretic may carry the truth unshakable way. Then he says, one thing, not only the Saddha, the mere faith, not only the lineage, but I have my own liking for that. I think that my desire, it is feeding it is giving me the food for thoughts. So the Buddha says, now you came with the Saddha and the Ruchi. Anusava, now you are coming with the Ruchi, your likings. I would say, in this world, a person will select out of the option due to 5 things. Saddha, Ruchi, Anusava, Akara Parivitaka, Ditthi Nijjanaka. One is the faith, the other one is the lineage coming from your holy books, and the third one is your own desire. You feel it is appealing, and the third one is you can deduce inferentially, and the third one is after analyzing you arrive at as your view. So these are the 5 things one person, whenever the options are given, will be selecting. That I am telling, all 5 have this weakness or loopholes. Even if you are going to have this kind of a conclusion and deductive knowledge and all the kind of thing, what you have selected may be free of the truth, but you rejected may have the truth. So then, Karpatika has no way, but he was very intelligent. Therefore, for the sake of our interest, he is asking, Dinda Bante, if you are rejecting all 5, what is the way you are proposing? Then the Buddha is assimilating a very nice formula. He says, starting from the very Saddha. Saddha jato upasankamati upasankamanto pairupasanto sotang odhayati oita soto dhammang sunati suttva dhammang dhareti dhatanan dhammanam attang upavarikkanto ditti nijjhana khamanti ditti nijjhana khantiyo sati chando jayati vayamati tulayati. Give a complete series how you can use all 5 to refine one each other. Saddhajata upasankamati, you have to have a faith, then only you are reaching someone to listen. Otherwise you will think that you know everything. You become bald-headed. Instead, if you have saddha, you are reaching others. Saddhajata upasankamanto pairupasati. And you go there and little associate with that particular person as to see whether he is doing what he is telling, or he is telling whether he is telling what he is doing. So for that you have to associate the person. Pairupasanto sotang odhayati. Once in a way listen to him, what kind of a philosophy, what kind of a teaching he is having. Ohita soto dhammang sunati. So in the third stage, he is going to listen some kind of explanations, principles and formulas kind of thing. And ohita soto dhamma suttva dhamman dhareti. And then he is not going to arrive at any kind of thing. He accumulates these old teachings here and there in the piecemeal basis. And dhatanan dhammanam attang uparika. Then he sees whether it is consistent. The teaching of that particular part is consistent with this one. Early teaching is consistent with the end. End is consistent with the beginning. And all the kind of thing, he put them into the one body and see attang uparikkanto sati chando jayati. And whenever he is bound to see any consistency of the pieces, then only he develop kind of a resolute faith. This is appear to be something profound. This appear to be something worthwhile, is something worth investing. Then only sati chando jayati. Chandan jato vayamati. Then he try little bit of theoretical, not a theoretical part, practical part, he put into practice and see. The Vayamati, Vayamanto Tulayati. And then he measure his own knowledge together with what is the empirical, practical gain he get to the amount that he practice. That measuring, balancing or comparing happen. Ussahati, Ussahanto Tulayati, Tulayanto the Ditini Jhana Kanti. And while he is measuring only, he can understand whether there is the worthwhile rationality behind, and then only he arrive at his own view, this is good or bad. And when that happens, again he develops a special boost towards the faith that you have already placed. And therefore he go again and again pondering into that. And more you go there, your resolute faith will be more reinforced and galvanized. And through so much so, he put effort and resolute, consistent effort. And more you go there, he bound to see the sap of the Dhamma, the truth of the Dhamma. More and more you go there, his doubts will be removed and his view will be corrected. And that is when you're circling, going on, then only one can reach the goal. So there you have to understand, we have one or the other thing very prominent. Either we are based on faith, or sometimes we have a kind of a lineage. We have a particular teacher, we are so adhered to him, so we believe what he is telling, never go beyond that. And there are some other people go with his or her desire, his or her the liking and disliking. Or some people go by rationality, some people go by views. So connecting that, this is the way the Sankhara is going to, these are the 5 criterion the Sankhara is going to select whenever the Rupa Sanchetana, Saddha Sanchetana, Gandha Sanchetana, Rasa Sanchetana, Pottabha Sanchetana, Dhamma Sanchetana. When the visual objects are there, sounds are there, smells, taste, touch and the Dhamma, the mental phenomena, which one you select as the most important, which one you select as the most immediate is depending on your value system of your yardsticks. Accordingly, what you select, that is the most appealing for you, and you get obsessed with that and inundated with that, you fail to understand that you are entertaining only what your selection. That selection is biased. That is due to your preconditioning of your upbringing and cultural values and all the kind of thing. So therefore you are reiterating nothing but your own desire. You are reiterating nothing but your own conceit or your own egoistic idea. If you have that kind of a challenge or that kind of a questioning to your own way of thinking, then you are a little safer. That's called broad-mindedness. Of course, you have your desire, you have your faith, you have your the lineage, you have your line of argument, and you have your the view that you can preserve, but still keep it open. Otherwise, you will be in a cleavage. So, when we are come back to the basic structure of this particular sutta, it says the first and foremost you have to be aware of we have to master the 4. That means you must have the ability to keep the body maybe 1 hour sort of thing, train the body. And then take the materiality, go into the very subtle forms, then only you can go into the mentality. And when you go there are 3 aspects. So far we have discussed as far as the mentality is concerned, the feelings, the perception, and today we are talking about the formations or volitional formation. All these three are kind of recipes or prescriptions for three character types. The person who is full of feelings, in the sense desire or attachment is there, he will find soon your body is calmed down and the mind is calmed down and the breath is calmed down. The feelings are going to become very prominent, and instead of seeing through feelings, he or she will get engrossed with, obsessed with, or inundated with feelings. If that is the case, for such a character, that will be a bottleneck. Daily they can go up to the subtlety of the breath and reaching the materiality, but they are not willing to give up their likings and dislikings. Because their character is more rooted on the feelings. Under such people, the Vedananupasana itself is becoming a very important and crucial and becoming a bottleneck, find difficult to give up. So, luckily, if such a person can sort out this relationship to the feelings, they are getting a breakthrough. Easily they can understand how the mind is working. Even without the very much of troubling with perception and volitional formation, they can have a leap. But if you are not the person type of a feelings, but instead you are much based on your perception, you are more towards the arrogant type. You are more towards the irritating type. You are more towards the critical type. So such a person, find these feelings, they can easily get out there. Easily give up that likings and disliking, but whatever you have perceived, you will be ever arguing, ever fighting, internally and externally. Such a person will hooked up with or engrossed with perception. That's why the Buddha says that Sanya na santassa, sanya vimuttassa na santiganta. For such a person who is engrossed with this perception, whenever they come to know this is my hook, this is my bondage, and easily I can give up my body, the breathing, and liking and disliking, but I am getting hooked up with this perception, he or she has to understand their particular character type, character trait, and they are see the danger of adherence to the perception. If you not have that kind of a character, then you will be passing them and hooked up in these formations. That is with the sankhara or chetana. It is more connected with the ignorance. So therefore some commentators, they are going to say the people in the world have either the desire type or raga charita or the more dvesha charita. It is more hooked up with this argumenting and kind of thing. There are some moha charita. So the last type, these formations are very important. For them, the giving up of their liking and disliking is not much of a matter, and they are not much serious about their perceptions, but they are getting mixed up in selection, in understanding that how to be aware, how to handle when there are too much of options. This is in a sense that the way that we are conducting this series of Dhamma talks, giving so much of information. When the so much of information comes, some people become so much complicated. How to use them? Which is the part I have to use? So therefore, such people easily get trapped in this sankhara level. They have a lot of information, they don't know which is priority, how to proceed them. So therefore, such people take long time, and for them, the understanding of this 5 at a time, 6 at a time. Selecting one is my own selection. It is not decided by the omniscient God or decided by any other factor. It is happening here and now. So therefore, in the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, whenever the Buddha is explaining the uh, root for suffering, or root cause for suffering, he says, Rupa Sanchetana Loke, Piya Rupan Sata Rupan, Ittesa Tanna Uppajjamana Uppajjati, Ittesa Tanna Nivisamana Nivisati. For such a people, those who are not much with the character type of desire or hatred, they have a general ignorance as the character, Rupa Sanchetana, for them, the volitional drive towards a see particular visual object or to not to see that kind of visual objects arising, and whenever happening, he become attached and driven by the desire, and when it happening, then and there, the connection or getting engrossed with is happening, and it says, Nivisamana, Nivisati, he get into that house, what he has prepared. His own mansion he prepared out of this visual object, and they entering into that, and he will be happy. And if you are going to know that your happiness is happening not due to the visual object itself, but the visual object you see as priority, see as the most important due to your own valuation, due to your own value system, and when you go there, what you are entertaining is not really the visual object, you are entertaining your own value system, your own liking and disliking, so therefore it is naturally attractive. So ultimately you get bogged down in that situation. So therefore the Buddha, he is in the world is full of beautiful things. So-called beautiful things. But the beauty is not in the worldly thing, it depends on your own internal upbringing and internal desire. So therefore, wise people never try to display in the external thing. He is always take care about one's own the desire. As far as that is there, anything can startle, anything can trigger off your desire. So therefore, the sankhara, when you are going to see, you have to understand each and every moment. You can completely explain the whole samsara. That very moment is not connected and not answerable or not committed by the last moment or moment to come. So this is very difficult for the commentators to understand. The commentator is going to say that what is happening is due to the past and the future. Of course, it is true as far as you are not meditating, as far as you are not serious about to get into the subtle layers of in-breath and out-breath. At that moment, the time dimension and the space dimension come into being. But if you are seriously meditating and come up with the very subtle layers of the form, that you are slowly relieving yourself and releasing yourself from this space and time, and the formation and the dissolution happen so immediate in that particular moment. And there only this sankhara come into very important, and you can see how much you selecting volitionally, or will it happen in the involuntary way. So with that light, I would like to bring back to the situation where, so when you are meditating, the mind is calm and quiet. Under such circumstances, maybe some pleasurable feeling arises, and whenever the pleasurable feeling arises, there's a chance for the unprepared, untrained mind to get attracted into that. Whenever the attraction happens, you know definitely you are get distracted from the primary object. Your mindfulness will be upset. So when such a situation, you will come to know in a few minutes time, you are no more in a meditative mood or in the mindfulness or in the diligence. Instead, you are trapped with this desire. So under such circumstances, naturally you regret thinking my mindfulness is still not strong enough, because it is, whenever the desire happens, it's naturally go there. But if you are serious about the sankhara, you have something to be reconsidered, or give second thoughts. Is this attraction to the light or pleasure or whatever thing happen with your volition or not? And if you are sharp enough to ask, when you are meditating, sometimes the light arising, sometimes the happiness arises, sometimes the rapture arises. Soon it happens, the attraction happens. If this attraction is your volitional action, or your will, or your motivation. That is because if it is a volitional, if it is a will, if it is a motivation, you are answerable, you get committed. But the day if you are going to understand it is not happening due to your volition, it is not happening due to your will and the motivation, you have no grounds to regret. Because this volition is the one deciding whether you have committed or not. The karmic forces in the karma and karma result theory indicate Chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami. If you have a Chetana, you have a reason to be regret. But if you seriously observing, you may see this attraction happened due to the habit, due to a rut. But at that very moment, you have no Chetana. If that is the case, main thing is not to worry. This is the huge release you get if you understand the word meaning or definition of volition. And let me go a little further. So now we'll say now you are not so in advance, you are meditating. While meditating, a thought happens. Or kind of a thought happens. Now you are taken for a train thought or a chain thought. And all of a sudden you come to know, instead of meditating or mindfulness or primary object, you are thinking. So whenever this is going to happen, as I depicted in the early example, simply you feel sorry, disheartened, telling that my mindfulness is so weak, it is always taken away by the thought. But instead, if you are to come back and see, whenever from the mainstream mindfulness from the in-breath and out-breath to taken a sidetrack of thought, happen due to your volition, happen due to your intention, or happen due to your will, if you can come back and see, you are so lucky, you will see more than 95% of the time, it is not happening due to a will. It is not happening due to a volition. It is not happening due to the will or motivation. So if that is the case, main thing is not to worry. If you are worrying, what happens is you are missing the chance to bring the mind back to the breath and continue with it. So therefore, recently I read a book known as The Blink by maybe Gladwell or something like that. He told, whenever we are in a dream state, whenever we are in a half control situation, all of a sudden the self-awareness is going to happen. Most of the scientific discoveries and the brilliant ideas came out of these blinks. When the Isaac Newton was sitting under an apple tree, all of a sudden apple fallen, he was not thinking about the gravity. He was not thinking about becoming a scientist. All of a sudden apple happened. If we are the people, we will take the apple and eat. Instead, it happened to him. Something happened. Dropping, there should have some attractive power. It's a blink. In the organic chemistry also, whenever the benzene cycle found very difficult to connect each other. He was sleeping, half dream, he saw a serpent went there and biting its own tail. That's enough. Then he assimilated the benzene cycle. These all are blinks. So likewise, when you are in a dream state or wandering mind state or daydreaming state or thinking state, all of a sudden, we come to know we are supposed to be with the breath, but instead we are thinking. So under such circumstances, if you can trace back, or in the sense, if you can put the clip of the video, if you have a video camera done, action replay and slow motion and come back to the junction, if you can trace back whether it is happening due to a volition or will or motivation, you are so lucky, you will understand these mistakes are not yours. But unlucky enough, most of the worldly beings, they are regretting, they feel sorry, they are depressed, they are anxiety, they are taking each and every volitional and unvolitional thing, everything as me, everything as mine, everything as my soul. So who the hell can help? Even the Creator God can't help, if it's happened to be. So that is why the Buddha says, you are such a miserable lot. You are taking everything into your bag and ultimately telling, I am so sorry, I am so miserable, whatever the thing I am going to do, I can't do it because due to indiscipline condition. But whenever you are going to understand the value of this sankhara, you will say, sankhara is chetana. Chetana means the volition. If you are committing with volition, definitely you are responsible. You are committed, you are bound to get the result. If it is something happening, that is what the Buddha says, disclaim them as if it is not me, it is not mine, it is not my soul. That disclaim is not as escapism. It is not a just argumenting. You have to have the mindfulness fully focused to see the junction. When you are going to take over, when you are going to take a sidetrack, at that moment if you can trace back, coming back to the moment and see, that is not something I did, it is something happened to me. By understanding you are in Nibbana. That understanding called Nibbana. That is called Tadanga Nibbuddha. Then and there you have a relief because you are regretting otherwise unwantedly. So therefore you have to understand looking and seeing, listening and hearing. And all the passive and active work, the language is very beautiful when it is in the active form. But the reality is, you are exaggerating the passive language into the active language due to your ego, due to your conceit, due to your desire. When you are learning the art of writing, the passive thing happening as if passive. Your essay will not be much more attractive, but is more closer to the truth. But whole teaching, whole writing today are more an exaggeration. Putting the passive language as active, ultimately it appears like very dramatic, very full of varietal entertainment, versatility. So ultimately you get attracted to that. But whenever we are going to read the suttas, what the Buddha explained, you can understand how nicely he put the passive as passive and active as active. So therefore, whatever you are going to look, you are accumulating very bad, you are committing into very bad situation, so therefore you are answerable. But whatever going to see, you are getting committed. Whatever happening to look, no problem. Because this is not happening due to your the volition. Whatever come into your ear, never going to create any kind of a defilement. But you are listening something that is definitely due to your one or the other weakness. So therefore, whole your moral discipline must be, anything happen to you will not discipline, will not defile you. Anything you are doing with the volition, be careful. You are answerable. That's the only discipline you have to develop, that you can't do unless otherwise you are doing only the moral restrainment. That will be too much for you to understand this. But if you are going little more than the moral responsibility and have little of the concentration training and go little beyond the training on your form, materiality, then you can understand, by understanding, by realizing, by digesting itself, you are relieving about 90%, 95% or more of your tension, your anxiety, your depression, because you come back and see whether it is something happened to you or you did it. Buddha says, no one will do bad things. Even the Karl Marx told, the man is originally good. He never do bad things unless otherwise forced. That is why the children are beautiful. There is no force, there is no volition, there is nothing. So whatever they do, it's a beauty, it is aesthetic. But whenever we are going to do something, that is our cousins. It is due to the desire, or due to the conceit, or due to our egocentric ideas. Ultimately what we are proliferating is these three mental proliferations. So therefore what we have to do is, let the nature to run as it is. That is called tatata or Taoism. That is the natural unfolding, and see how much you can observe it without getting committed into. The best way, the best junction you learn it is, whenever the breath becomes subtle, you must train yourself to the maximum, how much I can observe without doing anything, without urging, without the impulsion, the propellants. These are the terms for the sankhara. So if you can wait and see, the breath has been calmed down and you are not adding any turmoil, you see. So that is the beauty. That is the way you are going to understand the contentment. That's the way you understand how to get the distance from the phenomena. That is what the Nibbana means. That's the liberation. The situation is happening. You are fully awake, fully aware, but not committing yourself. There is no tension. If you are going to hold it, then only the tension happens. So therefore, understanding a little bit on this sankhara, a proper understanding, going to give so much of release, and you can understand under the very subtle state of mind, under the very subtle state of breath, under the very subtle state of your body, how this question arises, how this doubt arises, how this the uncomfortability arises. That indicates the amount of sankhara. So you must not facilitate it. You must not promote it. Of course, promotion, if it is happening, you have to understand the sankharas are very prolific. But your training must be, just see the base. Go back to see when everything is subtle and calm, what make you to entertain doubts? What make you to do force breathing? What make you to get up and go? Instead, see the ability to not to do something. I am not asking you to do practice the whole way of your life. I am not prescribing this for the whole population, but I am asking at least once, in your best of your time, go prepared, withdraw yourself, anything, even if it is going to happen, disclaim it. Whether light appears or darkness appears, whether liking appears or disliking appears, whether extrasensory perception appears or whether full of lust appears. See whether it is something you did or something happened to you. If it is something happened to you, disclaim it. Netammama neso amasvina meso atta. This is not me, this is not mine, this is not my soul. So Buddha is using a very nice term. Those who are going to claim this arising of your sensual desire, arising of your hatred, arising of your sleepiness, arising of your doubts, arising of your remorse and kind of thing. If he is going to claim, this is me, this is mine, this is my soul, light of, you are full of discouragement, self-negation, depression. Everything happened, that is Buddha called Dhammajita. Dhammajita means you are creating a soul out of these obsessions. Definitely it's a miserable soul. Because it is arising out of obsession. So Dhammajita is arising out of that. Tadmaya. Tadmaya in Pali, Ranmaya, Ridimaya, Shilamaya, like that, arising out of that is called Tatmaya. That is the interpretation Venerable Jnananda is going to give. So Dhammajita is a natural phenomena. Whenever such a thing happens, even if it is not done, even if it is happening to us, we are going to assume it. We are going to claim it. We are going to react it. So thereby, due to this very claiming, very assuming, very reaction, a kind of a soul arises. Then and there, it is a miserable. Instead, Buddha says, develop the character of Athammayata. Disclaimer. This very sexual feeling arises. That very sexual feeling I am observing. And is it me? Is it mine? Or is it my soul? Or the fully fledged devotion arises. You have to check it, whether it is me, whether it is mine, whether it is my soul. So when you are using that kind of a scrutiny, you will understand one thing, that creating such a volition is the main culprit. It is the main commitment we are doing. Instead we are not doing, but not only that, we are discreetly understand what we have done and what is happened to me. Then onward your language will be completely different. You will be a completely different person. Your relationship with the people will be completely different. You will understand so much of unwanted thing you are putting into your bag and carrying it, it's becoming so much of burden. So understanding on the basically at the theoretical level also the sankhara is quite a very relieving. It's a very interesting for someone to digest this, regurgitate it, and chew it again and again, chew the cud, and you will understand unwanted misery we are taking basically to our desire, the conceit and the ego. That very desire, ego and everything happens also due to a miscalculation. Because each and every fresh moment is fresh. It is free of defilement. So you are the one, very person, bringing the whole lot, the backlash into the next moment, and you think it is your moral responsibility to regret. Because I am a mother, I am a father, I am a such and such, therefore I must have a long faith if I am more and more responsible for the job. That is not the case. That is because your lack of understanding or messing up with the volitional and non-volitional thing. Therefore in Abhidhamma teaching, it is asankharika, asankharika. It's a huge difference. Sasankharika means the happening due to a motivation, driven by someone or with a drive. Asankharika means it is happening without anything, it is a natural cause. If it is asankharika, your life is beautiful, aesthetic and pliable, any person can adjust it. Because you will be keeping it open, yes, I know this much, but I am ready to listen to your thing also, it may be true or not. But if you are going to take it as me, mine and my soul, very adamant, very stereotype, very difficult, any person will find difficult to get into your psychology, your personality, because of your case hardening situation. That is very easily explained through this term of what you call sankhara. So I would like to stop the today's talk at that level. I would like to go further, if possible, tomorrow into the more details, so that we can add more and more practical hints to our meditative life as well as our religious life. Thank you very much for listening so far. So I cordially invite if any questions or statements or any topics feel suitable for this situation, because what I expressed was somewhat radical. So if you have any question, I welcome.
But I will ask some questions. You should answer only if you think they are relevant. If you think they are not necessary, you can omit them because it might take some time. Now, at one time, I think Buddhism was very prevalent all over the Indian subcontinent. But later on, it seemed to have disappeared. And if I don't know really why it happened, but one of the things I heard is a man called Shankara appeared on the scene, and he preached what is called Advaita and so on. For people at the initial stage of spiritual sadhana, he advocated saguna worship, a worship of reality of Brahman in the form of gods like Shiva, Vishnu, Ganapati, and so on. And then when become advanced in spiritual progress, for the renunciates, the monks and so on, he advocated the Nirguna Upadana, that is God without name and form, or God or the absolute or whatever it is without name and form. And I think their main sadhana is Om ultimately, without name and form worship. And it's supposed to take you into a state where, at least in a meditative state, at least you don't feel there's a you and I, there's no duality, there's no sense of I at all, individuality at all. All that is there is pure consciousness. And he says, you are lost in it, or identify yourself with that. And there are 4 statements which more or less the same thing, called Upanishad statements. One of them is, thou art that, you are that. At least in that state, you are that. There's no individuality. So a person who has come to that state is supposed to be a realized state, and that is supposed to be the ultimate thing. And he says, once you reach the state, there's no more rebirth for you. You are liberated from the roundless cycle of birth and death, just like Buddhism also has the same goal. So I would like to know where the error is, or whatever it is in that kind of teaching, and why it is different from Buddhism. And also, at a later stage in history, in South India, worshippers of the Lord Shiva, they also did some sort of miracle sort of thing, like for example, raising a person from dead and healing, and then water was flowing on the river in a certain direction. They put something in the water, it goes in the opposite direction, ola or leaf, something written, just to demonstrate that they had spiritual power and so on. By this sort of incident, the king at that time became more converted from Buddhism to Hinduism and encouraged Saivaism, and encouraged Hinduism or worship of Shiva and things like that. So probably these are reasons why Buddhism in a way declined. Particularly I'm interested to know, because superficially looking at it, sometimes certain aspects of Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy and Advaita seem to be similar. But I just want to know what the difference and where the fallacy is or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. Because for the last 3 years or so, again and again I heard this Shankaracharya's teaching, but I am waiting to read a good book on this Shankara's interpretation. It is kind of a hybrid on the Hinduism and the Buddhism. Ultimately, it was a great challenge for the Buddhism, and ultimately Buddhism lost the ground. The Shankaracharya is the main cause, and his hybridization is now catching. And that is what called Advaita Vedanta, and I am that. Nisargadatta Maharaj was one of the person. It's very brilliant, his writing, and all the series of books is known as I am that. but not I am here now, it is something that. That is again going back to the Brahma Padartha, and you are joining with the Brahma, that is the Brahma Padartha is explained as the omnipotent, omnipresent, that is the source, no duality, good and the bad, it is the decider, and every person is a part and partial of this Padartha, and when that Padartha is disclaiming his ego, it go back and join with the original and the Mahatma.
Just like a river going
into the ocean. So therefore there is an original this thing. So that indicates depersonification of the same thing is something like the truth of the Buddhism. If you are personified the truth, that appears like Brahman. Personify the truth as a being, Brahman, or omnipotent God. So therefore, some people say, therefore both of them are coming from the same source. Some personify it, Brahma or Shiva or Krishna, the Catholic God or Muslim God. But the Buddha categorically says there is no such a egoistic or personification. But beyond that, there may be a lot of changes. Recently, Bhikkhu Bodhi wrote a special article on this Advaita, and he told, don't misunderstand with the Advaita, with the Buddhism, it is completely categorically different. But I still have not given time, but I thought the best thing is, as far as I am concerned, I have to read Shankaracharya, best of his writings, and then understand what is the basic thing. So I can't give any particular answer because I am also interested in, but I have no basic data. And the second thing is the dwindling off of the Buddha Sasana is predicted by Buddha. It's a Maha Jataka. Maha Jataka is one of the Jataka stories. He says there are, during the time of the Buddha, the King Kosala happened to see 16 dreams. And he so frightened, and he asked his advisors, they were all non-Buddhist, and they told it's a very bad omen for you, therefore you have to kill 1,000 cows, 1,000 goats, 1,000 horses, 1,000 elephants, and all the kind of a big yaga prepared. And luckily the Mallika, the devoted queen, she come and see that in the courtyard so much of animal collected and big ceremony going on. Then ask him, the king. He says that yesterday night towards the morning I see a very bad this thing. The 16 dreams, they are not very good omen. So my advisors are going to give this kind of yaga. Then the Mallika is asking, why don't you go and ask the Buddha also? Then he goes to the Buddha. Then he says, King, this is not related to your life, but you are one of the helper. You are the witness in future. This truth is slowly dwindling it off, becoming diluted and disappearing into the others. So it is not a mistake of you, it is not a mistake of me. The truth is appearing and disappearing. It is in the way of shape. So therefore, Maha Jataka. And if you read it, you will see all the 16 are present today. True. All the 16 they have seen, easily you can understand. And it says that the Buddha says, the grass coming and start flowering very quickly and shedding off. And like how that people become mature quickly and die quickly. And he saw the mother cow is suckling from his baby. So nowadays you can see elderly generation is outdated in America. Everyone is waiting for the newly pop people. They are the trendsetters. Old people has to follow them.
Yeah.
And in Asiatic country it is not the case. Elderly people with the long beard and the white, they are still have their reputation. Every young people has to go and ask the permission from the elderly people. Now in America, the main trendsetters are not the elderly people. Elderly people try to go and ask, specifically you see the computers, we are outdated. If you go to the young child, they are masters. And if you are going to ask about quantum physics and kind of thing, who are we? We don't know. We can't comprehend because we are learned with that the classical physics of the Newtonian. We are masters on that. So we fail to understand this. So likewise, everything is changing. So if you study, it's fascinating. When you go to Burma, there are a lot of the wall haggers, wall pictures, wall painting. Everyone is having this Maha Jataka. Every temple, in Sri Lanka we have a lot of other Jatakas, but Maha Supina is a famous 16 dreams. So therefore we have to understand we must not be tense about that. We must be with fundamentalism about that. This is the way it comes and goes. And Goenkaji, he going to say, now there's a kind of upheaval of the Buddhism, at least at the 2500. So there may be a little up, and then it is finishing to ever. So you see, when you are lighting an oil lamp, it is burning continuously. When the wick is going to burn, quick uprise is going to happen. When the oil all finished, when the all wick is burning, and there's a big thing, and that is the end of it. There onward, no oil, no wick. So therefore, this time, that it says, Christmas happens only one day per year. So Christmas is not all the days. Likewise, present day is a very good opportunity for the people serious on the Buddhism. And if it is going to disappear, then no one can raise it up. So therefore, Goenkaji often says, don't think every day is a Christmas day. It is going up, and that time if you are not being opportunist and practice yourself, being you have all the endowments, don't feel sorry later. It is not a mistake of a Buddha, so things are happening. So, but anyway, many Sanskrit learned Pandits in Theravada tradition, they find Sankaracharya is the main culprit, disappeared the Buddhist. It says that Buddhism is Buddhism participated by the mother Hinduism. And ultimately the mother reabsorbed the child, sucked into again, and Buddhism again disappeared, that the Hinduism is coming. So that did by a very sharp way by the Sankaracharya. That is what the Buddhists are criticizing. But for me, I don't know, because I have not studied it. So if you have the way you are explaining may be correct, because this is the only time I see little bit of detail about what the Sankaracharya is telling. So therefore, Advaita Vedanta is a latter formation of the Upanishad, and it is telling, I am that, not this. So I am very happy. I was amazing to read Nissarana Maharaj. He was called Bidi Baba. And he died, and many people at that time going to go there by presence, satsang. It was very spiritual, it seems, being with him. The Satchitananda, satsang. And some Sri Lankan went there. So all the books available with me now. I am that. He never claimed himself as a being or something like. He completely dissolved. But he says, never something referring, he is referring to that. That means the omnipotent, omnipresent, Brahma Padartha. So Sankaracharya also attributed to the same, I am that, but he took the Buddhist understanding, the changing from the conventional truths to the absolute truths, and then leading again to the merging into the Advaita. It is something called oceanic feeling. So I am not in a position to comment upon that. But I am waiting to read little bit with Shankara.
So from what you read, do you think Nissarana Maharaja's level of consciousness was something what shall I say, an enlightened state or something?
For me, we Theravada tradition says they are jhanic states. They are concentration states. They can do miracles. But they have not dissolved, they have not completely given up their ignorance. Because they are in absorption. With that absorption, they can merge with they call Akash library, or the universal library. They have the full knowledge. But it is a kind of a cleavage in their mentality. The Buddha says, when you are going to the Akichanyayatana, Nevasanya, Nasanyayatana, it is such an attraction. It's three events you can understand. When the Buddha, as a child, young, and on the seventh day, the one very senior sage paid a visit to the palace. King Suddhodana, he was Kaladevala. And he's a very master in the subtle material absorption. So when the baby was present, and the senior person came, the king was very happy. He got a baby, boy baby, and it's an asset for the lineage. He presented. He was telling the young child, please pay respect to my teacher. But what happened was, his legs went up there and touched on his head. So something happened, but anyway, the sage taken to his hand, and at the beginning he smiled, and later he cried. So king was so moved, telling that something wrong with the baby's future. So he paid respect and asked, what is this? Why are you having this kind of a mixed? He says, I am happy because he will be the omniscient one. In the case of failure, definitely he will be the monarch to the whole world. So the king was so happy, because kings are happy, their children becoming more and more powerful kings. So he thought, I will prevent you from becoming an omniscient one, but I will make you the world-turning monarch. And then he had the question, why you are crying? Then he says, by the time he become Buddha or such a level, I am no more. I am dying. That's the end of the story. So Burmese masters are asking, if he is so keen about his own enlightenment, why can't he relinquish from your absorption and get rid of, so that he will not be destined to some plane, you have no ears, you have no eyes and kind of thing. But he can't get rid of due to his magnetism to his own achievement. He can't deny it. So ultimately, knowingly, the Buddha is going to happen few days or few years' time. He can't in a sphere where I have five faculties. He has so much of attraction to the small, fine material absorption. Who will be after the death, he will go to a sphere, no communication with this world. So it became a trap for him. And the next Buddha, while he is practicing, he went to the Alarkala Mudrakaram. They were in the 7th and 8th jhanic experience, and Buddha mastered quickly, before becoming a Buddha to be. And the teacher asking, you are the best student. Why don't you share the disciples and we will run this? Then he told, no, this is not my destiny. Thank you very much for appreciation, I am leaving. After leaving and 7 years of ascetic practice, he became Buddha. And he found no one to communicate because people are so bogged down in sensuous pleasure. How can they understand this, the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, where we can sell them? What is the value? So Buddha was so upset to preach the Dhamma. Somehow the other he made up his mind and he saw who is the best people to teach. These two teachers. Because they are so refined. But one person died yesterday night, the other person died 1 week before. Now they have gone to the sphere, refined material, so he can't listen what is happening here. So they missed the bus by 1 week or 1 day. So if you are in the lower level of sphere, still he can, as a celestial being or Brahma, he can have the contact with the Buddha. He can, therefore, when you go to very subtle layers, you appear like a completely supreme being and kind of thing, but you don't know the cleavage you are in. No one can help you. That is the way the Buddhists are interpreting it this way. So instead, best thing is, you must have scrutiny, you must have the ability to inquire into your own state, rather than getting absorbed into that. That means absorption. Not understanding what is happening. So these things, that may be what Bhikkhu Bodhi is explaining. I have no time to read it. But he recently wrote an article, specific article on the Advaita. Don't get absorbed. It is very attractive, very brilliant arguments. But ultimately leading you to believe something that, beyond you.
Two questions. One is, you just mentioned about the lamp suddenly becoming bright before disappearing, before getting blown out or whatever. So do you think that Buddhism, after a slow sort of renaissance, a mild renaissance, is going to completely disappear from this world? And
that is exactly the thing. Anything appearing is disappearing.
So it's a very pessimistic picture for us, every one of us there.
Yeah, can't tell. That is you, even for me. Leave aside the plural terms. Even the singular term, when the raining happens, upland farmers should harrow their lands. You can't expect the rain to go to your time. When the rain happens, you have to be ready. That is what the upland farming means. So that is why the Buddha says, Sigan, quickly get it finished. Don't ask the rain to come to the proper day where you get the yoke and you get the cows. You have to be ready with the cows and the yokes when the rain is happening. So therefore the Buddha says, develop the urges, sansaric urge, and don't miss the chance.
So what you say is we have to do the job quickly, otherwise those who miss it will be unfortunate, and if you want to escape it, you must accelerate your progress.
Yeah. That is throughout the, it says, Panyavatta Sayan Dhammo Nayan Dhammo Buddhu Panyasa. He says a number of cases that my Dhamma is always to keep the people, give the people the, diligence, the vigilance. Don't postpone. The vigilance, the diligence opposite is negligence. That is simply known as postponement. Postponement, the Buddha says, even the people, those who are people kind of the postponing, even they appear like living, they are already dead.
Does it mean that, say for people like us, then the best course of action would be to reduce worldly activities like spending time on the job lot, to reduce that and to spend as much time as we can on the sadhana, even right now? Is that the best thing to do?
I will really appreciate it too. Do it in a gradual basis. Don't try to give up everything, because we have to have our basic needs. But don't go for simply for luxuries. That I thoroughly cautious you. More you go for the luxuries, you are burning the candle from both the ends. You are giving a bad example. You are wasting so much of time. And it is simply pushing you away from the middle path. So therefore, do for the moderate life and do for utility value. Anything you do to utility value, have lesser amount of friction and the commitment. So if you are doing for luxuries, so it's a environmental pollution, materialistic, and consumerization, and obesity, all the kind of things. So using for the utility value, not only the Buddha, any person will appreciate. So tighten your belts. As much as possible, live on the earth, back to earth life. Utility value, we have enough. I am telling we have enough.
And a personal question, if you don't mind, do you think that you personally, at this point of time, have realized whatever Buddha said, person born in this world should realize, that is the Nibbana, or the ultimate liberation and total peace?
No, not a single person can go to the Nibbana. As far as the person is there, Nibbana is far away. When the Nibbana happens, person is dissolved. So I can't say I achieve Nibbana, it is grammatically wrong. So So did you achieve the Nibbana? That question grammatically wrong. So best thing the Buddha says is, you achieve Nibbana and see myself, then that day you can see. The Buddha says, those who achieve the Sotapanna can see the normal common beings, but they can't see Sakadagami. Once you go to the Sakadagami, the second path, you can see the Sotapanna and the worldly beings, but you can't see Anagami. When you go to the Anagami, you can see Sakadagami, Sotapanna and the worldly beings, but you can't see Arahant. So when you go to the Arahant, you can see all the three. Therefore, best thing is, why don't you go there and see? No, any hindrance or any difficulty or any...
I would like that, but I don't think it will happen.
As far as... No. As far as I like it, never it happens. So that's mind you. As far as I like it...
He was separated.
Therefore, the I and the liking and the Nibbana are contradictory different spheres. As far as you are, by liking you can't go there. As far as you are there, you can't go there. Otherwise you are already in Nibbana. But you don't know. You are thinking that everything is I am doing. The day you have given up and say it, everything is happening, why should I worry about this maintenance and the commitment? Let's see things as happening, then you are in Nibbana. Then you are not there. Your conceit is not there. Your liking is not there. Nibbana is there. It is not somewhere else. It is not that. It is here and now. But
How long you have to be in that situation?
Even one split second. Then onward your thinking will be radically changed. The seeing it as an under your very nose, these things are happening. What the hell I can do by volition? What the hell I can do by my will? I think I can turn the world other way around, or the left to the right and right to the left. So much is your ignorance, so much is your arrogance, so much is your conceit. The day you give 1 second, I am not asking for long, because that thought moment is not, that belongs to the time and this thing. Understanding itself is the thunder, sending aside, apart, breaking your whole crux, all your unity, send it aside, asunder, breaking. And when this thing is dropped and cracked, it's cracked. No more. No more you can, by touching, you can get the real sound. It's cracked. So this crack is enough. In the world, it's called your crack.
Once that crack happens, do you think we'll be able to function in the normal world in the sense like go to work and deal with people?
That is difficult. That is difficult to answer directly. But that is what the Arahants are. That is what the Buddhas are. That is the role model. We have a very big lineage. They have lived in such a way, never create any friction. Their main function is not to do harm. First, do no harm. Just like the Hippocratic, this thing, first do no harm in the medical. In the Buddha says, Sammapapasakana. They are never trying good things. Doing good thing means ego. Good thing means desire. Good thing means this thing. So, instead you put the other way around, I must live in such a way not to create any friction to other, no any fear to other, do least amount of harm. That is the biggest culture, biggest gentlemanship, biggest upliftment. So daily you must understand, by my behavior, my words and conduct, am I creating any friction to someone? Am I creating any fear to someone? Am I doing any harm, any malice? If that is the case, no, where you can escape? But we can't do away that. So what you can do is do least amount of harming. Sabba bhavasa karna kusala sukha sampada. So then onward the things are happening. Even monitoring is not necessary. Just like a child living on the mother's lap. Mother is going to take care, nothing to worry.
No, that sense, even doing so-called good deeds, trying to do good deeds and spending your time and energy on that, planning, organizing. For example, I come across a good mango fruit, I sometimes say, I must propagate this and, plant orchards.
You have to understand,
Whether it's done with I or without I, engaging in that sort of activity will help a person who is in the Nibbana path.
So it says, as a sankhara is concerned, each and every volition you have to pay.
So you can do this the same thing without volition, is it possible?
If it is not doing, it is happening. That's the active and passive words you have to use it. So Buddha says, punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, ananjabhi sankhara. Sankhara is only 3 types. It's doing good things, doing bad things, doing no good, no bad. All these things is extending our life, our sansaric journey. Bad thing, good thing or anything. So best thing is to let the thing happen and just observe. That is called the distance observation. You are assuming an observer status. That you see, sometimes when you are going to the UN nation, you are asking for, first you give the observer status. You can go and see the meeting happening, but you have no rights to present your view. That is the one.
So if a desire to do something arises, the best thing is if you can get over the desire or be without it.
Don't go up to that. See the desire as desire and see from where it comes.
And then it will vanish, I suppose.
No. That vanishing is hateful. Don't try to get rid of the desire. That is not the case. The Buddha is telling, see the beginning of the desire, see the end of the desire. Desire is something arising and passing away. It is not you. Therefore, don't try to get rid of. That getting rid of itself is hate-based.
Not that we try to get rid of it, but when you see the arising and disappearing of the desire, then the urge to act on the desire also will not be there. It will not be followed by action on the basis of the desire.
So that's why you have to put in the passive words. If you see the desire disappear, desire, it will do according to its own course. You have nothing to do. So this is the part very difficult for to understand. This is the what in Vipassana always stressing. Don't try to get rid of thinking. Don't try to get rid of pain. Don't try to get rid of sounds. You just observe as and when the thought arises, as and when the sound arises, as and when the pain arises, as if not it is yours. Not claiming this is me, this is mine, this is my soul. Of course it is torturing, it is excruciating. But did you expect it to happen? Or by your will it go off? No. So then you have to see the whole panorama as much as possible, see without interference, even little pains, little sounds, to see the beginning and the end. Then you are slowly putting up your the threshold value, your immunity. Yes?
Instead of observing the desire, the beginning, the middle, and the end, does that have to do with the practice of patience? Also, like patience in the sense of not acting on the desire and see how, I'm speaking about, I used to smoke cigarettes. Since I was very young, I started to smoke and I had a very strong addiction. It took me 5 years to convince and brainwash myself to be able to do it. But it was, one of the things that I did was to convince myself that I was going to get very strong desire, that if I would think, if I didn't do it, something terrible would happen and I would die. But to be aware that that would pass, it would reach a peak, but that peak won't last more than half an hour or an hour, and then it would start declining. So if I was able to get through that period when I thought that I was going crazy, because that's what happens, and with an addiction, and let it, like wear off, then you will see that it will disappear. So I had to convince myself, I said, when that happens, don't think that you have to do it. Even if you die, just wait and do it. And that was the way that I could was the most difficult part. And so I can apply that to any desire. Actually, I like coffee, coffee, but I have been drinking it because it also makes me nervous. And I have the desire, and I say, well, no, I'm going to drink it today, maybe tomorrow. And then by fooling myself like that, I realize that then the desire just disappears after a while. It's also a mental thing that you grasp, because in that moment you need that satisfaction, but that also is transient. If you observe it, it will dissipate, and you could be fine, happily without it. So I think that's what I said, that I think that is connected with patience, because you have the patience to see it, wearing off, and as long as you can grasp on it, it will.
You can't explain everything by the single term patience, but observation is the basic thing. I don't know whether you have heard about Rajneesh Osho. No.
Well, I know who he is. Yeah.
I am reading a lot about it.
But I used to see him in the television here.
Yeah, and he says, if the Buddha can recommend in-breath and out-breath, why can't I recommend smoking in and out? So if you have a strong desire to stop the smoking, that is also a desire. So therefore, that you are already in the subject now. You are smoking and you know the rational mind says it is wrong. But the heart, it says, the emotion says you go and smoke even if you are going to die, no problem. So that you are in it. Now you are developing another desire to stop smoking. He says you are you are giving up this and going up to that one. So therefore, under such circumstances, do complete smoking with mindfulness. So he says that when you are putting your hand into your pocket and getting the lighter, fixing the cigarette, burning it, smoking it, do it complete understanding, and you will understand where the satisfaction is. So ultimately you will see. So I had this problem. I am not a good chain smoker, but I am smoking. It is just to be a boy, that's all. There is no other satisfaction. So there is no other thing I am doing, so I keep on doing. One day I had a bad cold, a phlegm problem, so while smoking it was so bad. So I thought I have to give up. So I went to another Dhammika, that he was my teacher at that time. I told Bandi, I don't feel like, I first told Bandi I am smoking. Even my family members, they don't know. I am doing in this way. I am going to smoke it. What? Don't smoke it. Don't stop it. Continue it. Then I told, what I talking about? No. You are too immature to stop it. Continue with the same. Then I told Bhante, how a Buddhist monk telling like that for a young man to continue with? No, I am telling seriously, you are half mature. If you are going to stop now, again you will stop. You will start. So do it, complete observation. See, you are the halfway, it is not gone now. So when you are doing, do it completely this thing. So I was arguing with him. But it's a kind of a radical way. That strong desire to stop is itself a desire. So therefore that when it is happening, this is something happening. Whether you are doing or not, it is something happening. Observe it in the thorough way, in a fully elaborated way. There you can understand where the satisfaction is. There is no such a thing. It's a mental game is going on. And one person told the smoking, late only I came to know, if you feel like a strong feeling for a smoke, go to a dark place and have a smoke. No satisfaction.
Really?
Yes, because that smoke going is making a personality. So when you go to darkness and going to entertain it, who the hell going to see that you are smoking? Even you can't see it, no satisfaction.
I don't know.
Have you tested?
Yeah, of course. smoke alone or in the dark or
No, when you,
personal pleasure.
when you are going to challenge yourself, when you're going to understand that now there's a transitional going on, yeah, whenever you wish to feel like smoking, don't try to suppress it or do. Instead, you go to darkness and try to do it. The satisfaction is seriously reducing. So therefore, whenever these bad habits are going to happen, there's no single reason or patience or kind of thing. But the mindfulness, doing it in the full wholehearted way, is such a radical thing. But when we are doing that, it is not moral. We don't feel like develop mindfulness because we understand mindfulness as a beautiful mind thought, how do you call mental factor. So when you're doing something wrong, we don't feel like applying. But the mindfulness definitely can help in both good and the bad.
So do you think that I should start smoking again?
No, I am not doing But definitely I will challenge you. I will challenge you, if you are going to start it again, the cessation is very easier than the first time.
No, that I know.
That is definitely. Because now you are going to start with much knowledge, and right from the beginning you know it. And then the cessation is very easy. If you see the start. Because that is the way the mind is working.
What happened to you, Banja? How did
George will never talk to me.
Okay, just okay, what happened?
No, after arguing, there was lingering off little bit and I gave it up.
But Dante, let me tell you, I've read that cigarettes, most people don't know this, is more addictive, tobacco, than any drug, even heroin. The worst drugs are not as addictive as cigarettes. Cigarettes the most addictive and hook people almost like this immediately. More than any cocaine, even more than cocaine, heroin, any drug is. For me, it was the withdrawal, the same thing that I have read from people that quit heroin or very strong. I couldn't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours a day. I was sweating, I was cold, I was running up and down the stairs. I couldn't work for a month. I was in a terrible mood. I really wanted to pick a fight with everybody that I crossed my, it was really amazing for the first month.
You mean due to smoking?
After when I quit.
After
the reaction.
Yeah.
My body and my mind, this was because of the addiction, it was really strong.
So how can you tell that smoking is so difficult that somehow the other you manage? Somehow the other you manage.
Yeah, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
Actually, I changed for a month. It was like it was not myself. And I remember telling my cousin, if I don't recover myself, I felt like a stranger to them, like it was somebody else. I will smoke again because it's like being dead already and I prefer to be what I was or what is happening now. But then little by little I recovered. I don't know what I meant by recovering myself. I guess maybe things that I like to do or what I enjoyed. I don't know. It was a very strange
It's something like you are reborn. You are died and again reborn.
It was a very strange experience. But I think also that I was born with that desire to smoking because as a child I used to pick the cigarette box of my father and smoke them as a little kid, and I thought that was wonderful. So,
I think there may be a genetic problem.
I think I was born with that, yeah. So, okay, well, I have a question maybe more serious. What is the difference between the enlightenment of the Buddha and the attainment of Nirvana of anybody else?
It is called, there are 3 kinds of attainments: Buddha, Sambuddha, Samma Sambuddha. The Buddha is the term, it is called the awakening. Buddha is coming out of the Prabuddha. Prabuddha means awakening, Pibidena. Buddha term coming out of the awakening. And Buddha is being given the Visheshana Padavata Padavata Visheshana Padavata Makadha again English? Adjective. Sambuddha, that means you are awakening by yourself, without the help from the second person. Now we are for the moment try to get the teaching of the Buddha and all the kind of things. So we can't say we are enlightened by ourselves, because without that help we can't do. But there's a kind of a Buddha, it's called the silent Buddha, or that they are awakening by itself, but they can't communicate with others. They can't teach others. That is called Sambuddha or Pacceka Buddha. And there's a kind of a one appearing very rare. He Samma Sambuddha. The Buddha is being, the adjective is Sam and Samma. Sam means he is enlightened by himself, and he can teach others also. So when that happens, it's called Savasana Sakalaklesa Prahan. This has a kind of two kinds of defilements. One layer, one getting rid of that defilements, you can be a awakened person, but still there are some tendencies, hidden tendencies. They are not much of a problem for the society, not much of the problem for your personality. Still they can have, and you can be called as awakened. But Samma Sambuddha is someone, he don't have even the traces. The example given is, if you have a vitamin bottles, a bottle of vitamin tonics, and even if it is emptied and washed, you can have the smell. It never goes off. Even if you dry and wash it and whatever, the smell is, it is embedded. Even if it is a glass vessel. So Arahant is a person, now it is already empty, washed and clean, but still that smell is there. But that bottle can be used for any purpose. In the Samma Sambuddha's case, that smell also not available. Savasana Sakalaklesa, that's called Kiles Vasana. Kiles Vasana means very, some sediments, some precipitations are there. It is not tangible. That normal Arahant beings have that. It never mind. The two cases has been reported. There had been one Arahant during the time of the Buddha. He called all the other people, how to call in the language, that they are second class people, like, you know, coolies. Coolies කියන වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරනවද මේ? Coolies means they are using people for the day's work and you taking for the cleaning of toilets and all the kind of thing. So such people you are calling in a very inferior way. That Arahant also used to call other people even Vasala. Vasala means the low caste person. So everyone knows upset. So ultimately reported to the Buddha. Then the Buddha told that his Arahantship is not to question or count that, because for the last previous 500 lives, he has been a top-class Brahmin. So he used to use that language. So as a rut, as a habit he is using, but he has no any malice to the other people. So therefore even that trait is there. It is not a disqualification for other one. And there has been another person, whenever he is walking, if a ditch or a canal is going to happen, he is jumping over there. It is not appear very decent for a monk. So other people going to choose and tell you that you have to behave in such a way, why you are jumping kind of thing. But ultimately he is an Arahant. So the case came to the Buddha and he says, for the last 500 or so years he has been a monkey. He used to jump. So therefore that character won't indicate as a disqualification for him. So only the Buddha can understand when these cases have been reported as the case histories. So these things appear, for the appearance sake, others understand something lowly. That means they have certain amount of defilements, some traces, but it is not hindering their full enlightenment. After this life it is gone. But in the Buddha, even such a thing, such a small cases for complaint not available. Therefore, Savasana Sakalaklesa Prahana. So it's a very theoretical question.
The only the
Samma Sambuddha.
The only one that we know of is Shakyamuni Buddha.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
The only one.
Yeah, that is the one. And before him, enlightenment, there had been some Buddha. About 500 odd, they all disappeared. according to the district.
You said if you want to still have a trace of like that one, that where was it not
Arahant. They are called Arahant.
You can't recite that would be fully enlightened, but you have to wait until the person
That is what the Mahayana tradition, it says that once you become Buddha, you take Bodhisattva vow, and then you are practicing till you become Samma Sambuddha, up till that even the blade of grass going to become Buddha, till that he is postponing his Buddha vow. Not only the living beings, even the blade of grass has to be enlightened. Till that you have to broaden your Buddha vow, Bodhisattva vow. Bodhicharya Avatara, the book, is explaining that so much you must have the compassion to the other living beings.
That is based on the 6 perfections.
Yeah, paramis.
The Theravada tradition will practice the 6 perfections.
We have 10, they have 6.
Or you have
10 perfections. So you are trying for Samma Sambuddha or Sambuddha?
What will happen to if she gets enlightened?
No, boy, how can you have?
I say original thoughts first.
What will happen to her if she gets enlightened with the smoke?
She is the smoking Buddha. Smoking Buddha.
She continues smoking, right?
Yeah. I know the Nissarana Maharaj, he was the one I told that I am that. He used to smoke. He is called Bidi Baba. Bidi. The Bidi means
I
that...
used to smoke babies.
Yeah, Bidis. And he has been a businessman, Bidi, and he used to continue it. Bidi Baba. Bidi Baba. Bidi Baba. His nickname was Bidi Baba, because he was a businessman on the Bidi.
And Ramakrishna used to smoke certain things. Ramakrishna, you know about Ramakrishna?
Radha Krishna or Rama Krishna?
He used to smoke some kind of herbs.
In Buddhism, you see that giving pipes, offering pipes it's a meritorial deed.
Really?
Yeah. Why? For the phlegm, we have a kind of a plant called Pariwatta. I don't know the Adatoda. That if you dry the leaf and put into a pipe or roll it and smoke, immediate phlegm will go out. It's a medical, it's a medicine. It is not the tobacco. And narcola, something like that. That is also good. So therefore, that when the monks are living in the caves, very humid, often their throat and the sinuses get blocked. So they have to smoke, but not tobacco, but Pariwatta. So therefore, earlier it is being, some people are rolling leaves. It's a mango kind of a leaf. You can roll it when it's young and then dry it, offering to monks. Also known as smoking. Dumnala Pujava. Dumnala means that smoking pipes.
When you are developing compassion towards others, when you are developing compassion towards others, the ones you would be most concerned with or who come within your orbit are the ones around you, maybe your people who are closely associated. And when you say Buddhism is something that will die out very soon and so on, and you progress and you won't be too concerned about others, and that becomes a source of unhappiness for you, that the people whom you care for are not able to go in that path or are not going in that path.
For the moment I am not worrying about the compassion, I am worrying about myself, that everything I am doing for the benefit of myself. So I am very narrow-minded, I am very little concerned about others. That is one of my traits when I started my meditation. No broad way I am thinking, I am very narrow, very sharp cut. All the others are happenings. So the compassion, if it is happening, I don't mind. My main thing is to guard all the kind of thing. So therefore, for the Dalai Lama's case, he says that my religion is compassion. And so I had the psychological resistance with him. When he's going to say compassion, because I am developing something other. I am telling that compassion is a diluting of your business. So therefore, don't marry, don't have any attachment to any particular person. Keep all the resources maximum to get it, finish it now. So, yes, here and now. No compassion, no mercy. Even to myself or even to the other person. So it appears like very dry, very, how do you call that?
Selfish.
Utter selfish. Ultimate selfish. So I am a Machiavelli. I am getting maximum chance to establish myself. Establish myself means that vipassana. So therefore I am a dangerous person. No mercy. I am not comparing. I have no idea of enlightening others. Because I know it is none of my business. I am not usually asking people to meditate also, because if they wish, they will do. Whatever the people, what I am going to do, who the hell going to ask? So if someone is not meditating, I have no any anger. I have very little people available for meditation, well and good. No problem. But whenever something becomes popular, I feel quite nervous. I feel quite vomitish. I feel quite something wrong. When it's become very little and serious people, that I think it's very healthy. The more popular, more compassion means, I don't know, I may be wrong, that is the way I am running the game. So I have that either someone is failing or success, who cares? I don't care. So whenever my family members, I am coming from the big family. So I say, usually they are not Buddhist, I don't care. They are devoted Buddhist. So they are very angry telling that I am in the way, that I am telling they are not Buddhist, I don't care. So they say that I have a blood relation, I have to go there and help them. Oh, what nonsense that you can't find your own business. This is a coincidence that we became brothers and sisters. All the brothers and sisters are the people who are practicing together. Then they become blood relation. I consider them as the best, the family members like. Not through the compassion, through the coincidence. So sorry to tell, I am not a person with compassion. I have no time for that. I am very concerned about my own business. Mind your own business.
Why are you here now?
This man is asking again and again me to come. So he asked me that, that at home, in the monastery, that I am more free. I am like a wild beast. Yeah, I am living at my way.
Just to get rid of.
Yeah, that is that. I mean, it's nuisance. You see how many emails, this and this and this, he take everything. He don't take care about you people. He take everything into his hand and says, Bhante, come. He tried from 2006 to 2008 or 9, continuously asking. I told him, no, I am not coming. No hope.
You're coming disguised.
Yeah. So now it has become a regulation. So he is the main culprit.
Hey?
Sunil.
Sunil, oh, he's quiet now.
He is the main culprit. Main culprit. So I keep only the invitations. I shuffle the invitation and select whatever I like it. I have no any intention to go and teach or do something like that. I know it is a wastage.
You are teaching all the time.
You don't know how much I am studying for each day. For me.
But is it important, the studying or reading?
I mean, teaching, you become a raw material for me. That's all. Please mind you. I am not concerned about your enlightenment. Who cares? How can I? I am making use you as my audience to, otherwise to whom I am going to talk. That is how my English became so proficient. And the Dhamma, day by day, I never gave a chance. I read again and again. Each time I am reading, I understand you people are teaching me in a grandeur way. Because you again are coming and asking. I mean, it's such a support. How can I clap with a second hand? I must have a second hand. So you people, you think that I am teaching you, but for me, you people are teaching in a very lively way, warm way, not letting me to be waste single moment. Keeping the full vigilance, attention and all the kind of thing, I think that is the best. So I am the luckiest person on the earth, that I am dead sure. Because that the support I am getting. But I never feel that I am giving something or I am teaching something. I all feel ashamed to see that I am someone people me as a teacher. Or someone going to tell me as a guru or guru deva. You see many names. Even the Buddha never claimed it. He is Sabrahmachari. We are all practicing together.
But you are happy all the time.
That even before my meditation also. Wherever I go, I never go with the people with the long faces and discouraging people and brooding upon. I avoid as quickly as possible. I go and live with the sunny situation with the people happiness. So it was not, I mean, it would have been a character for me to attract into the mindfulness. But the mindfulness is not the one. Even before I was a jolly good fellow. Today we are reaching almost 10 o'clock.
There's a last question. The perfection of generosity is not due to compassion, and the Buddha didn't say that giving dharma and dharma is not the highest way of generosity, and isn't that done because of compassion towards others in the sense that just to, for them to have the means,
So generosity itself has many layers. The lowest layer is the offering material. Dasadana vastu. As eating, drinking, chewables, and all the kind of thing. So this is the Montessori class. So once that is gone there, you have to give the others fearlessness. Fearlessness is much higher thing, that is called the precepts. That is called the moral responsibility. So once that is practiced, you have to give up your obsessional defilements. Kama, Chanda, Vyapada, Tina, Midda. And when you give up that, you are fulfilling with the concentration. And once then that going there, ultimate you are giving up is your likings and dislikings. That is the biggest generous thing. Can we categorize giving up of liking and disliking as a compassion? It go more to the wisdom. Ultimately, when you are discussing about the sankhara, when you are discussing about the pain and the pleasure, what you are giving up is your likings and dislikings. That's the most difficulty. So in order to facilitate it, or that is to rehearse only, you give your material, what you like it. And that is Montessori class. That's a retraining. Ultimately, the day you give up your likings and disliking, you understand, there is a kind of element, but definitely it is not based on the compassion, it is based on the wisdom. So therefore, it's a transition from the compassion to the wisdom, from the lower grade of generosity to the higher grade of generosity. Ultimately, you are giving nothing but your likings and dislikes. For that, you must be completely against your grain, completely swimming upstream. So it is more to the wisdom.
Your own books, electronic books that you have published, I think the first page or so say the greatest gift is giving of Dhamma or something.
So it is not me, it is Buddha. Buddha is the one telling like that.
Yeah. So that's a kind of that's a kind of concern for others to do that.
So I mean, those people are typing, those people are printing, those people are publishing, writing those things. I have never written any book. No. They listen to the Dhamma talk, they write it and they publish it and proofreading and kind of thing. I rarely write kind of thing. You don't believe my grammar. I am such an idiot. Even in Sinhala language, even in Pali, in English, I was so poor to the grammar because I consider it as a pure science. Why should I learn? By practicing again and again only to come into straight. So if I am writing a sentence, you may find number of mistakes. My writings are very poor. Otherwise, I would have finished my PhD very easily because I registered for MPhil. I reduced into the MSc because I can't write my dissertation. No one helped me. So,
giving up your likings and this, whatever is, I think it's like shedding your ego. It's the same thing.
The desire, conceit and ego, all the three. It is like removing your bones. No, the desire also the same. And your conceit also the same. Why should I give that to already earned things that I prefer and kind of thing? Who the hell qualified to get my things? So we look down on others, telling that I am using because I am privileged, I am the person earned, that I must learn. So you have to be completely irrational, completely radical, very radical. So that is why the many people look at the Buddha like a very soft, very female-like character. Never think about the Buddha on that matter. It's like a bullet, like a rhinoceros, like a bulldozer. Because he has given the example and given the Dhamma in such a electric way, like dynamite. Demanding like anything. He's demanding even your life, demanding your body, demanding all likings and disliking, not like other teachers. He bring up to that person from your craving situation. Marvelous. Okay. Hope no more any questions. So we are going to recite the what do you call chantings, so that we are sharing all the merits with the people, those seen and unseen beings, those who are helped organize this kind of thing, and sharing merit with all the dear and near ones, and reminding our objectives and straightening our objective with the help of these skillful deeds. With that idea, we are going to chant the traditional stanza. Ittavata acagammehi sambatam punya sampatam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata acagammehi sambatam punya sampatam sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata acagammehi sambatam punya sampatam sabbe satta numodantu Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu sasanam. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu desanam. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu mang parang. Idang wo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātiyo. Idang wo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātiyo. Idang wo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātiyo. Imina puñña kammene māmi bāla samāgamo sataṃ samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattya. Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.